Here it is, more seed planting. We have different things to get started and all the peppers and tomatoes I'm gonna go ahead and get started with. This is a patch of flowers and some herbs, and these ones are seeds to send to my friend Tambra Duggar and her group, and I'm kind of excited about some of these. Can't wait to turn my new garden green and growing. And some are done. All of it in there. Just regular water to pre-moisten. A lot of it. Let it sit for a little bit. Mix it in. Can tell it's gonna need more water. Yes, I do spill dirt and water on my floor occasionally. It's always good to pre-moisten this before you fill your trays, because you're gonna have baby seedlings and seeds in there that would get displaced. And this makes it so that you're not putting a seed that's trying to, erupt into a plant in a dry, because look, that's so dry still. You want to get it nice and mixed in there so that it's going to get moist all the way through. Lots of people are picky about their potting soil. They like to not get commercialized ones like Miracle Grow that have chemical fertilizers and stuff in there. And each person gets to decide for themselves what they're going to do. The chemical fertilizers do make the vegetables grow really nicely, so it's up to you. I like to get a combination between what's on sale, what I've used before, and what is at that store, depending on where I'm buying it at. And then I go from there. And then I'm gonna fill the trays. That's so easy with my hands. Tuck it in there. I usually leave a little room to put some more on the top. These are repurposed. They're dirty. Some people will actually clean and bleach them out. That is up to them. I don't have the time or patience for that. It's sort of like when different ways people keep their kitchen clean or whatever. I do like to have a tray underneath so I can water at the base. And watering at the base for me is twofold. I'm in my office upstairs, so it keeps these from dripping out onto my floor, which would be impossible to keep from happening. But it's also to make it so I don't have to water each individual pot. I can come in and water at the base and just put enough in there for them to soak up. And at the time, what it takes to soak up in about 20 minutes. And then you're not going to overwater. I don't usually have an overwatering issue. I usually have a, what? It's actually been 4 days since I watered. How did that happen? I was talking to a couple young men that I've met through my kids' school and our church, and they're both interested in learning to grow food, to do agricultural things. And so we've had quite a few talks about all the different things, and from complex top questions to simple questions. And I will say that when you're learning to garden, there's no question that's too simple, because you got to start somewhere. And I think that you can accelerate your journey by asking those questions instead of having to learn for yourself. That's why YouTube, poor man's education. You can actually accelerate your growth as a gardener by years. On a lazy rainy afternoon, you can literally gain a lot of experience through someone else's journey. But the questions that were at the basic level was, if you're going to start seeds, they want to have them in their garage so they can put their shelving unit in the garage. One has one of those little mini greenhouses that he wants to set in the garage. So the trick is light. The regular light bulbs don't work. You definitely need the light that is imitation of sunlight. So it's worth paying the money to get a decent grow light. The LED ones cost less money than the other ones to run, so if you're looking for that. And then the other thing is to make sure the temperature is optimum for seeds. So right now here we're teetering in the mid 30s to low 40s in the evenings at night. And so if it's going to get down to freezing, you don't want your garage, even if it's in the garage, you don't want your seedlings to peter out. So one of them has a little heat source, a little tiny heater that he's going to put on a timer and just keep the greenhouse a little bit more warm. The other one was, I think there was some talk about putting it in a bedroom or something, which is my advice on that is just make sure that you're prepared to spill a little dirt and water. So you want to put something on if you have hardwood floors or carpets to protect, to keep that from ruining. And here in Grow Zone, we are in 8B. Sometimes I think we can, some years I think we even fake a 9 where I'm at here. But so we can start now because it's less than 12 weeks before our last frost date. And there's a lot of things I'm going to start that'll process out to my greenhouse and be just fine out there. So looking forward to that. But the light and the heat is the two magic combinations. If your garage is really cold, then they have these little heat mats that you can put under a surface like this, and it will keep it just warm enough to keep your soil warm and give you the best chance for success. So when you go to a store and you see a full-grown tomato bush, and you're going to pay, $4 for it, $3.50, $3, $6, depending on the variety, whatever. You could buy a pack of seeds for a couple bucks and plant them for years, a couple of years, 3-4 years before your seeds go bad. And then some seeds will last longer if you keep them well. The germination rate just goes down, so you plant more in a container at that time. But then it kind of makes sense to pay a couple bucks and have years worth and be able to have a variety and more than one plant and all those kinds of things. So here's to seed starting 2021. From the safety of my front porch, I am recording our first snow event of the year. If you could, definitely not going to stick anytime soon. It's very much too warm. It's pretty.
All right, Liz, show us what you're made of, steelhead fisher with no pressure. Come on, money cast. Not bad. I'll give you a 7.5.
If you made it to the end of the last few videos and you saw all the seeds and the frogs and the power outages and all of that, then you might also be interested to see that in the midst of all of that, We also had our youngest son, Mark, get married to his bride, Kelsey. And that went off at the beginning of February, which kept us pretty busy, but it's always super fun. And congratulations to them. And moving forward, they actually got to do the storm as a married couple. Thankfully, it was the weekend after the wedding.